Virtual Lounge, and we are here for another great If You Knew interview. And I'm excited today to be talking to Elijah Allen Blitz, who is an Emmy Award-winning VR director, and Brie Larson, an Academy Award-winning actress and also producer of a new project called The Messy Truth, which just won an Emmy Award. Yay! And it's particularly exciting for me because as a governor of the Television Academy, I got to watch it go through the award process. And it's really exciting because it really leverages VR in a special way to put people in the shoes of other people in difficult situations. So it not only is great entertainment, but it also teaches us something. And Elijah is someone that has been working in VR for a long time and has been nominated for other awards as well. And we're very familiar with their partner, Van Jones, and also Verizon Media, who were involved in this project. So again, I'm so excited to talk to them. Welcome, Elijah and Brie, to the Infinity Festival Virtual Lounge. So give us the bigger story on this great project.
Yeah, so the project really started right after the 2016 election. And there was, just this obvious divide where it was, we didn't know what we were going to do. And Van would always say this line, can we disagree without becoming enemies? And he and I started talking about what were the potential uses for VR in this, new landscape of trying to bring us closer together using the same technology that had been dividing us. And that's really what started this. And so, along the way, as the technology kind of progressed, especially with stuff with the hand tracking, like originally we were using leap motion, to put you in the shoes of someone else, but that technology kind of fizzled out. And now we've evolved onto the Oculus Quest hand tracking. And so it's just using this technology as it emerges to really increase the level of empathy that we can share with others.
And give us a sense of what the storytelling around this is, because it's episodic. And you've shot 2 of these episodes, and Brie is in the second one, which won the Emmy. But give us an idea of just how each of these episodes works.
So, you mean from a technical place, or just like overall, like what these experiences are like?
The storytelling, because you have a couple of interesting ideas behind this.
Yeah. So one of the most important things is that every episode we're doing is based on a true story. So we're taking real life events and we're putting them inside of these 360 videos and then putting you, the viewer, using Game Engine into actually the viewer, whoever's, perspective it is, you're actually inside of their body and you can look down and see your hands, but they might be of a different gender or a different race and you're fully embodied in someone else's shoes. So the first episode was with Winston Duke from the film Black Panther and Avengers and just us. It's just a rock star, such a great guy. And he came in and just, believed in this project from the beginning and said, okay, I want to be part of this. Even though he didn't quite understand what we were doing, we all were like trying to explain it because this is really, at the time, it's never been done like this before. And so Winston came on, we created that first episode. It put you in the shoes of a 12-year-old African-American boy in the car with your dad, played by Winston. You guys were pulled over and harassed by the police. And that was based on a true story. And then with Brie's episode, actually, from the beginning, she had suggested that we focused on the restaurant industry. And I can let her speak more as to why she chose that. But from the beginning, she was hands-on just as a producer. I remember you even saying at one point, like, she's like, even if I don't act in this, like, it needs to look like this. It needs to come from this perspective. So it was, from the producing point of view the entire time about how to actually make this the most impactful and honest thing that we could do.
And Brie, where did your inspiration come from to make it about what it's like to be in the food industry at the level that you did?
When Elijah and I were first talking about this project, I was having this really pivotal experience in my life of being connected with a lot of different activists in different fields, all surrounding power imbalances and gender inequality. And there's so many different fields that we could have touched upon with the idea of diving into sexual harassment in the workplace, but tipped workers are 2 times more likely to experience sexual harassment than non-tipped workers. And it really struck me and it hit really close to home, and it felt like a very important story because these are people that we are in contact with constantly. And I don't think we realize the impact with our interactions as customers, our interactions as an employer, and also the power that we have with someone's wage based upon what tip we're leaving. I don't think that a lot of people previously, and I still don't know if people realize that for most tip workers in our country, it's a little over $2 an hour is the minimum wage. So we're talking about a huge financial disparity when it comes to their livelihood is dependent on another human being tipping them. And that's going to create a whole mess of complications and abuses of power. So we worked very closely with various activists in the field. There was Restaurant Opportunity Center.
Restaurant Opportunity Center United.
Yes,
Yeah.
ROC. Restaurant Opportunity Center United with Saru, who's absolutely incredible. She had started that, has since moved on, but was working there. And Women in Hospitality, they were also incredible. And so we had a lot of really smart, powerful, wonderful women who came directly from this field and then became activists and advocates for people within the restaurant industry to help advise us on these scripts to make sure that everything from setting, language was all representative of what's happening currently.
And had you ever worked on a virtual reality project as an actress and producer before? What was it like for you?
I hadn't. It was something that I had wanted to do. I had been taking meetings actually for the years prior to talking about this with Elijah because I really wanted to work in this field because I love the immersive element of it. It's like being inside of a dream. What I love about filmmaking is the empathy, is the fact that when you are sitting in a theater or you're sitting at home, it doesn't matter who you're with, you become one with what it is that you're seeing on the screen. That was always my goal with movie making. And so for there to be actually a step further where you can be that person, not just sympathize, but empathize with another, that was really exciting. So to be part of this and to kind of learn from Elijah a lot of the thought process that goes into I'm a lover of minimalism as well as an art form. And that's basically what this is. It's like, how much can we do with a static camera, two actors, and how much impact can we make? How much truth can we tell?
Oh, so it's so exciting. I'd like to play you have a great reel showcasing these pieces because I've seen this a few times and it always leaves me very emotional because it's so powerful how you do really tap into one of VR's most powerful tools, which is empathy. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to play it and then, let's pretend we're playing it because I can't share the screen right now.
Cool.
Fine.
It was awesome.
Wow. Amazing.
Let me tell you, it was amazing.
Okay, so we'll do. Okay, you guys, it gets me every single time because I do feel like, in the first series, the little boy, and I've certainly been in situations with the one that you did, Brie. So it's so emotional and so intense. So Elijah, when you were doing this, were you at all surprised of the impact that this was having on people? Because I know everybody gets very emotional when they watch this.
Yeah, it has been. This year we didn't really get the chance, obviously, because of, the pandemic, to really take this episode that we did with Brie out and share it with the world at the scale we wanted to. But with the first episode, it blew my mind. Not that, that obviously was the goal from the beginning, was to show people from different perspectives and try and see if we could actually make a difference in how people felt. And to really see it in action, that was just, to me, that was the point. That was, this wasn't just to show everybody in Hollywood and be like, you guys look, we're preaching to the choir and it's all good. And everyone agrees with us. Right. And it's no, we act, you can see, as you saw in the video, we took it to CPAC, the conservative convention, and just going in there, it's everyone, a lot of people had very different views than I did. And at the same time, there was this core of this common humanity that I really felt, where it blew my mind to really see how much more we had in common than not. And yes, there are drastic differences in some areas, but the majority of things we do agree on. We do want our families to be safe. We do all want our country to actually thrive. And we might have different ideas of how we get there, but still just the heart of all these things we're agreeing upon. And to be able to use VR as the tool to show us that, that is, it's so cool to me because it's scalable. VR itself, it's not just something where it's like, we need like one person that can go around the world and do seminars, which can be amazing. It can work, but I don't see that as the same scale as like once these headsets are ubiquitous and they're just everywhere and we're, giving them out like first generation iPads to schools, we can have this headset anywhere and just send this and, hey, put this on and take 5 minutes and see from someone else's perspective. That's what I think is
I
so
can
cool.
absolutely see this as curriculum too.
Yeah.
Because you raise it. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges, and Van Jones certainly spends a lot of his public time talking about this, is that we all have a lot more in common than we think. And so the work that you guys are doing is helping to communicate that. Now, there's another fun layer to this project, which is that Winston and Brie are both Avengers. And I'm just wondering, did that factor into a lot of this? Was that a coincidence? How did that come about?
So it didn't start. It wasn't the plan initially. I mean, obviously that would have been like too pie in the sky, I think, for even us 4 years ago, trying to think how we were even going to get these things made. But as it progressed, Winston, came on first and then talking with Brie about her episode and was like, wait, hey, this is lining up. And, Josh Brolin is a really dear friend of mine and he saw the experience, was really moved by it. Zoe Saldana came and saw it and just said, I want to do one of these. And so it just started working out that way. And then Van is a huge fan of Marvel Comics. And so he was the most, I thought it was awesome, but he was the most excited. Like when you see him like jumping up and down, like this is going to be great. It's like, yeah, cool. Cause there is something. I mean,
it helps because it ties it all together more, right? It gets people so excited. And, Elijah and Brie were talking, I've talked to them many times about how excited my daughter is knowing that I'm talking to Captain Marvel. So all of that adds to getting people engaged, which is so fabulous. Now, I don't know if you guys can share other VR projects that you might be involved in, or Brie, if you're looking at doing more VR because of this experience, just because it's, we all do know that the pandemic has lit up the distribution of affordable headsets. And you can't even get them. They're back ordered, and a new Quest is back ordered now. They're coming out soon. So I love your distribution point because I don't think it'll be that difficult now for people to view this. So are you guys talking about more collaboration on VR projects?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many stories to tell. I mean, we've barely scratched the surface. We've talked about doing an episode about disability, people with disabilities, mental health, PTSD, addiction. There's just so many perspectives that are completely just like human. We're not talking about left or right. We really want to try and spread this out so that this isn't about taking anybody's side, but just about sharing the truth and making sure that that truth is available to everyone, that this isn't something that's just available to people that can afford a headset, that there's a way that we can get this actually out to people, that we can evenly distribute this technology. I love the idea of positive experiences as well, of moments of grace, moments of a helpful gesture from a stranger. Like, these are true things that also exist within our experience. And in particular, at a time when we're so isolated and so physically separate from one another, the idea that we could create more experiences of unity utilizing this alone time feels very right.
And just in terms of you learning as an actress, VR and either its limitations or difficulties as an actress, do you have any hints or any feedback to give to the community about performing in VR?
The hardest part for me was that it's one take, at least with this one. I know that that's not the case with all of them, but for ours, it's just one long scene. And so it's like doing a play over and over again. One mistake happens and you start over again. And I was exhausted by the end of the day because there's certain moments when I'm on set and you're doing coverage that you can kind of pull back. You're like, okay, we're doing a wide shot. I can hold back on this piece and I can push a little further. At this point in the day, it's like 100% every single time, all day. And so, for the crews out there, for the actors out there, just be prepared for that. It's a wonderful experience. I love that. I mean, I love stretching myself to my limit, but it wasn't until afterwards where I was like, oh yeah, this was different than what I'm used to.
And Elijah, you are known for directing a VR. Do you have any, insights or advice to give to either theatrical directors who are moving into VR, which to your point, Brie, is a trend, theatrical directors seem to be most suited for VR, or for film directors that want to move into VR. Anything that you can share on the insight side?
Well, yeah, I mean, specifically for film directors, it's just remembering that, you know, you're not crafting a frame, you're just creating a world. So you don't get to decide where the viewer's attention is, which is something that, you know, traditional film and television directors are very used to. So in that, you have to take into consideration that because you don't know where the viewer will be looking at any moment, you have this extra responsibility in making sure that no matter where they're looking, there's still some way to progress the plot of what you're trying to share with them.
And do you guys spend time in VR just as regular people, just going in and checking out what folks are doing? Do you have any favorite VR experiences that you didn't direct or produce?
We've been wanting to do, we haven't had a chance to do it yet, but there's been these virtual escape rooms. We've been really wanting to do those.
Adventure Lab
Yes.
is one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, Kim Jorgensen is a friend of mine. She'll be at the festival as well. And it's a ball. Yeah. So you've been wanting to do one of those.
I want to do that so bad. Yeah. It's amazing how with the limited opportunities, the way that your brain goes and the things you start to miss, where I'm like, I miss escape rooms. So it's so random.
Sure.
Didn't know I would miss them, but I really do. So grateful that things like that exist as another way to entertain ourselves during this time.
Yeah. Yeah, we were going to go to Dreamscape right before the lockdown, and we didn't get a chance to, but hopefully we will at some point. We did go to the Void, though, and that was awesome.
Void was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, the Void Jumanji experience was incredible.
Yeah.
That was one of the best location-based experiences I've ever seen. Have you experienced it, Lori?
I've done a lot of the Dreamscape stuff. I haven't done the Void.
So even the Jumanji one within the Void is different than all the other ones because every character has a different power. And so you need to work together. Like one character, you don't really know this until halfway through the thing, but one character can speak to animals. So only that one person in your party can know what the animals are saying. And the animals are saying come over here or else we're going to eat you. And only one person is hearing that and they have to communicate that to the rest of the group. Anyway, so I think that stuff is really cool where you're actually utilizing the space and that every single person is really contributing to the experience as it goes along.
I love that. All right, we're going to have to go do an escape room together.
Yeah,
love it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'll just tell you that I'm useless in stressful situations.
We're good in stress.
Yeah,
so
we're good.
got
We'll be
you.
good. We
Let
got
me
you.
ask you a few of our infinity questions because this show is all about storytelling enabled by technology. So just for both of you, just off the top of your head, what's some of the most exciting things to come out this year in tech that you've both personally been excited about? It could be anything.
Excited? I'm trying to think of what we just what I use the most are AirPods.
The AirPods, yeah.
AirPods are really helpful. I gotta say, they're so
personal wearables.
So convenient.
It's so helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, here's another one.
I'm stoked on the Quest 2. I haven't got to use it yet, but I'm very looking forward to the Quest 2.
Oh yeah, I watched the advertisement for it and I was very excited about it.
Yeah.
I know, and it's that cool white color. All right, here's another one. Let me throw this one at you. 5 years from now, as producers and directors and actors, how do you think people will be consuming content?
How many years from now? 5?
Yeah, in 5 years. Or just in the near future, too. What do you think people will be doing?
You want me to take this one? Yeah.
I'm not like that. I'm right in this moment.
So for me, and don't know, obviously everything is prefaced with that, but I do see that we are progressing into this augmented reality world where the next generation, and I do believe it will be within 5 years, will be a pair of glasses that will kind of take over, walking around on our smartphones like this to actually interacting with the world wearing glasses like this. And I don't see it being too far of a leap to then have a mode in those glasses that you could switch over and turn that into a full VR headset. I don't think we're going to be consuming all content like that. I do think that there is something so special, and really the pandemic has kind of highlighted this, about how incredible it is to have a shared experience by going to a movie theater. and like sitting in the dark in front of a gigantic screen and experiencing something with a group of people together. So I don't think that's going away personally. I hope it's not. That being said, I also do see that and this one I actually hope for. I do hope that we go from walking around with our heads hunched over like this to actually being upright and being able to interact with the space like this. I think that that's going to create a quantum leap that we can't even really realize the implications yet.
That's a really good point. Maybe one more of our general questions, but are you guys big bingers, and are there any shows that you've been binging? Because it's a strange golden age of television. At the same
say
time,
what we've been binging. Don't you dare utter a word.
I can't comment.
So embarrassed by what we've binged.
It's not embarrassing. I think it's like it could have been way worse.
A show that you liked and Brie didn't like?
Okay,
No.
How about this? I will say this one. We have watched so much of The Office. It is outrageous. It's pretty much The Office and it's The Last Dance. Like these are what we're toggling through.
We've gone through both of those twice.
Yeah.
The entire 9 seasons of The Office twice. Not during the whole pandemic, but like in our time together, we've gone through the entire 9 seasons twice and The Last Dance twice. We could say that. And maybe something else.
But you're not.
And I'm just curious because my binge behavior gets a little competitive with myself, and that even if I'm passing out, sometimes I have decided on the amount of binging I'm going to do and I can't stop.
Yes.
Do you guys do it all at once, or like what's your behaviors when you're consuming content?
It really depends. Elijah's actually not that much of a binger. I'm like, let's stay up all night and watch this. He sometimes, the weirdest habit I think he has is sometimes he'll want just like a 45-minute chunk, which is like not quite completing.
That was on one show that you don't want to talk about.
No, I'll talk about that.
You talking about that? All right, go for it. Yeah.
Well, he had a hard time with Tiger King.
That was on Tiger King. I had to limit the amount of Joe Exotic we could take. Like, I couldn't take Joe Exotic in more, like 45-minute chunks. That was like all I could really do.
Yeah.
It was tough for me. Like, there was so much.
I have my own shows that I binge on my own because there's certain things that he, of course, doesn't like. We don't like all of the same things. And so I have my own. I watch, the great Pottery Throwdown right now has been my private binge.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing too how much content and television has meant to everyone during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so do you guys have some new ideas for any new projects that you can share with us that you're going to work on together, or are you purely focused on the messy truth right now?
Well, we are talking about a lot of things. We have a lot of time. We've been dreaming up a lot of really cool things, but not anything that we'll share just yet because it's way more fun to share it when it's in a more concrete form. But we spend a lot of time talking about the messy truth in the episodes that we want to make, and just shamelessly asking the internet of like, if you're out there and want to help, want to participate, or looking for financing still. It's just, this has been the project that needs a little bit more extra push, and we believe in it so much. So we're getting everything put together so that when that next piece of financing comes or the next partner comes, that we can, be ready to go.
Yeah. It's been incredible. I mean, when you think about, I guess, the concept itself of a virtual reality curriculum for empathy, I don't know. I would think that would get people more excited, but then when you try and think about like a return on investment in that, nobody knows what that looks like. So that's obviously the tough part, as Laura, so well in this crazy VR landscape of trying to raise money. Even with all of the incredible superheroes we have attached, it's still difficult. And so, yeah, we are actively working on that. One of the things, actually, something I can talk about because it is now official, is Laird Hamilton and our friend William Cawley are officially doing a virtual reality ride where you will be riding 100-foot waves with Laird in VR. So that's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And you're going to be working. You're going to be directing that?
Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful. Yeah. And Elijah, people may not know, you have a history of award-winning work. You want to share your earlier projects?
With the first big thing that I directed for in VR was a piece called Defying the Nazis. And I worked with Ken Burns. It was a companion piece to his documentary. And it was about the Holocaust. And we recreated this journey where this woman saved these 27 Jewish children and got them on a boat and smuggled them out and got them to the United States. And we actually recreated that entire trip and then had the privilege to actually show one of the survivors the recreation of her rescue in VR. So that was, my kind of like entry into the field of VR. And so from there, it's just been like, oh, this is for me, this is what it's supposed to be used for. Just to me, obviously everybody else is contributing in all these different ways, but I felt very strongly that it's like I saw the potential and I saw what that could do. And so to be able to share experiences that bring people closer together, even with the stuff with Layered, like I still see that in some ways that is creating empathy, being able to put you into a flow state, doing something you might never ever get to experience. You'll have a different relationship with nature potentially, just the way that you are able to see the natural world. Anyway, I really see for me, my contribution in VR, I'm always focused on how do we bring people together.
That's all right. Just two more last questions, and one is just where can people learn more about the messy truth?
So Van's website has both of the episodes on there right now, the first and second episode, and there's more information about it there. That's magiclabsmedia.com. And that's a company that also in the beginning when you're talking about producers, it's also important to mention Jana Carter, who founded Magic Labs with Van, was also a producer on this episode with Brie, and she was essential in making this possible. There's really been some incredible people along the way that have believed in this. There was a guy named Michael Dutton who came in when we had nothing in the beginning and made this episode happen. And then the team at Riot coming on for the second episode. So I feel like it's important to acknowledge these people because it takes a big leap of faith to do something like this where there is no clear idea. There is no path. Nobody's done this, and so to actually be able to say, you know what? I believe in what you're trying to do enough to put my money and my time and my work where my mouth is, and I'm going to help get this happening. So I just want to acknowledge all these people that have been there, and our friends Hutch Parker and Scott Freeman, and anyway, Jen Dennis, Ann Epstein. I'm sorry. These are people. I really care about these people. I'm just thinking about all these different people because we're here talking about it, but it's not just us. Like this took such a team of people that cared for so long, for 4 years, that put in work without getting paid. And anyway, I just appreciate it. And it wouldn't feel right to just be like, oh yeah, we did this. And it's like, no, we and a lot of other people did this.
Your passion and your excitement is totally contagious.
Yeah, imagine living with him.
I have imagined it. No, just so Brie, just one last question for you. You're an Academy Award winner. You just won an Emmy related to this project. Is it a different kind of feeling to win an Emmy for something like this than an Academy Award, or is it all just completely fabulous?
It's all kind of goes in this same area, and it's not pegged to just the awards. It's these moments where you realize that when I say working, I mean connecting, that it's meaning something. That in a lot of ways, I feel like deep down, all of this is me making things being like, does anybody else want this? Like, does anybody else feel odd? Like, does anybody else want to connect more? And so these are moments of validation, and it's like life affirming. It's life affirming, not in that it's like, oh, great, I won an award. It's life affirming that it's like, wow, this is touching people, the work that we're making. And it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of the time with these interviews and stuff, you're totally right, Elijah. It's like we come in at the moment of achievement when, even if it's just that the thing's done, like we made it. And it's really hard to get into the minutia of the complication and the sacrifice and like the hard conversations and all of the things that have led to this moment here where we're talking. And so, moments where you get to reflect on that and get to take it in, even if it's just for a couple of minutes to go like, okay, maybe this is worth something. Maybe we are leaving an impression that's worth more than ourselves.
And I want to thank you, Elijah, and you, Brie. I know how busy you guys are. You have crazy schedules, and you took time out to be with us, to share your great project. And Elijah, in particular, you've always been a great community member of the Infinity Festival family. This is not your first time here, and I really appreciate you sharing this new project with us.
And thank you, Lori. And really, truly, we both want to thank you for your help and guidance and advice and just your care for this project and care for empathy in this crazy new landscape of VR. From the beginning, even when we first met like 3 years ago, we were talking about this. And so we both really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Intel bringing you an